Point number 10 on having problems is this. Remember, you have no problems. You say, wait a second, you just spent 40 minutes talking to me all about problems. And you told me over and over again I should see them as challenges and solutions and all these different things. You told me how to deal with them. Now you're saying there's no problems? You're right. Develop a new belief. You have no problems. If you think you have problems, all you got to do is start comparing and contrasting with people in worse shape. You think you have problems? I suggest you take a trip to the morgue. You may discover you don't have any problems. A friend of mine is the chief psychologist at Bellevue. And oftentimes I've talked to people in seminars about how it's really valuable in life, not just to talk about another experience, but to go have it, to expose yourself to things, both positive and negative, that'll help you to appreciate your life more. And he decided to take some of his key psychologists and psychiatrists down to the morgue to have an experience, an associated experience of what death is like, so maybe they'd appreciate life a little more. And I'll tell you what, he took me on the same trip, and I will never forget it. I remember going in the hospital, and as we were going down the elevator to go into the basement, I remember looking around at some of these people that looked so sickly and they looked so horrible, and I felt really bad for them. And after going to the morgue and having them open drawer after drawer and experiencing death in a different way than just how I think about it, like graduation, like moving on to what I believe may be a better experience. And many people believe what I believe in that area. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the point is this. When I stood there with these persons' bodies right there, I realized I'm more than my body. Because you know what? They weighed the same, but there was no experience of a human being being there. It was unbelievable. And I looked at one gentleman, he opened the drawer, and the man was my age, at the time 29. He was full of bullet holes. It was an unbelievable experience. He told me not to talk while I was down there, to just experience whatever I felt. And we talk about it later on. He wanted me not to blow off steam by talking or distracting myself. It impacted me emotionally. And I could tell you a lot about it, but in the moment I have left with you, I just tell you this. When I got back on the elevator, I looked at some of those same sickly people, and I realized they don't have any problems. I looked at some of those people who look terrible, and all of a sudden they look young and healthy, by contrast. I looked at my own life and realized I don't have any problems, and neither do you. You think you got problems? Remember, problems are a sign of life. If you don't have any problems, that's the only real problem I know of. If you got problems, you're healthy. Your key is utilize them, take advantage of them in so many ways as we've talked about, and realize how lucky you are to have this thing called problems. If you're not in the morgue, if you got your family, if you got your friends, if you have any portion of your health, if you can open your eyes in a free world and not worried about a soldier walking in telling you what to do, then obviously you don't have any problems. Might be good for us to remember. Here in America, we oftentimes lose perspective. It's real useful to realize how lucky we really are.